A 13-year-old honor student, a sleeping mother recovering from surgery, a blood-soaked bedroom, and a selfie with a smirk. What happened inside that Florida apartment still divides the internet. Was it cold-blooded murder or a tragic miscarriage of justice? Welcome to True Crime Diaries, where we don't just tell the story, we dissect the shadows it leaves behind. Today we're diving into the disturbing case of Derek Rosa, a young teenager accused of murdering his mother, Irina Garcia, in their home in Hialeah, Florida. Before we begin, we extend our deepest sympathies to the Garcia family. A mother lost her life in an act of violence that shook the community. No matter the outcome of this trial, the loss is irreversible and the pain is real. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a case breakdown like this one. Now, let's begin. It was a warm evening on October 12th, 2023, when 39-year-old Irina Garcia laid down to rest in her apartment at the Amelia Oaks complex in Hialeah, Florida. Just 2 weeks earlier, she had undergone a C-section, giving birth to her baby daughter, Ashley. The home was quiet. Her husband, Frank Ramos, a truck driver, was reportedly out of town, somewhere in Georgia. In the apartment with Irina were her newborn baby and her 13-year-old son, Derek Rosa, an 8th grade honor student from IMAT Academy. The family appeared from the outside to be stable, loving, normal. Doorbell footage from 8 p.m. shows Derek leaving and returning, exchanging brief words in Spanish with his mother. She holds the baby, seated calmly inside the doorway. Her tone is nurturing. Derek listens, responds obediently. It all seems routine. Nothing feels off. By 10 p.m., both mother and son had gone to bed. At 11:30 p.m., a call was placed to 911. The voice on the line was that of Derek Rosa. Calm, eerily composed. He told dispatchers his mother had been stabbed and that the weapon, a kitchen knife with a purple handle, was in his room. When asked directly if he had killed his mother, he said yes.
The police over here where I live.
What is your address?
I don't know my address. Yeah, no, my baby sister's here too, she's sleeping.
I need to know if your mom is breathing.
She's dead, miss.
Okay, and what did you do then?
There's blood all over the floor.
I need to know that you don't have any guns or any knives with you.
There's a knife in my room and there's a gun in the living room.
Okay, I need you to stay away from them. Can you put them in a safe place away from where the officers can see them? I need to know, do you think we can help your mom?
Miss, she's dead.
Give me the address. Can you give me the address?
Yes. I'll go to my mom's and I'll try to find it in the door.
Okay.
Someone's calling my mom. What do I do?
Don't pick up. I need you to give me your address. That's what I need.
Okay. I'll try to find it. Wait.
Eventually, emergency services received the complete address of the unit at Amelia Oaks. Meanwhile, still on the phone, Derek offered unsolicited and extremely disturbing commentary.
I have more family members. They can take care of my sister.
I understand. Your sister will be in good hands, okay? Let's just worry about you now.
Okay. I took pictures and I told my friends about it. Was that bad?
You told who about it?
My friends.
Your friends? Did you send pictures to your friends? So what you did?
Yeah.
He then explained he had been rummaging through her drawers to find a letter with their address. He was struggling to read it. Meanwhile, he stayed on the phone, describing the scene around him in unsettling detail. He watched police arrive via the apartment's surveillance system, then obeyed their instructions, exiting the apartment where he was immediately handcuffed. Inside, officers found Irina face down on the floor between the foot of her bed and a chest of drawers. She had been stabbed 46 times. Her infant daughter lay asleep in the nearby crib, untouched.
Police! Hands up! Hands up! Come here, come on. Hands up. Get on the ground. Go. The son is in custody. Any knife?
There's a knife in my room.
The knife is in the room.
There's a baby.
How's the baby? Did you do anything to the fucking baby?
No, I did not touch the baby.
Come on. Leave him there. Sit over there. Sit down. Lay down. Lay down. All the way down. Face down. He's full of blood.
Yeah, sorry. It's okay.
Why, bro? Fucking shit. Don't crush it.
Police moved swiftly to secure the scene. The apartment was unusually tidy, filled with baby supplies, a nail salon setup, and toys. But there were traces of horror. A trail of blood ran from the living room to the master bedroom. A handgun sat on the couch. Cases for 2 firearms were open on Irena's bed. The kitchen showed signs of activity. A knife sheath on the counter, drawers left open. Derek's bedroom, while typical for a young teen, with cartoon sketches, a teddy bear, a big bro badge, contained the knife. Its tip was broken. Bloodied clothing was collected. Loose bullets lay on the bed. Investigators noted that some blood appeared to have been partially wiped away, suggesting a limited attempt to clean up. Derek was taken to the Hialeah Police Department. There, without an adult present, he waived his right to an attorney. According to Detective Joseph Arosagi, Derek said he understood his Miranda rights. The confession was shocking. He not only admitted to the murder, but also to taking photos of his mother's body afterward. He said he sent these images to a friend, known only as Sweden, including a selfie with a bloodied hand and a grin. He confessed to handling his stepfather's guns, loading them, and then putting them away. He then made the call to 911. When asked why he killed his mother, he fell silent. That question was left unanswered.
Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights.
Okay, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and initial this little dot for me. It means that you understand that. Yeah, just your initials.
I don't have initials. I just write my name.
Okay. Whatever.
What's your name?
Right here.
You have the right to remain silent.
Okay. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Write your name again if you understand that.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have the lawyer present with you during the questioning.
Okay. You understand that? Go ahead and
I am willing to make the statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me. No pressure or persistent
coercion. That's that we're forcing you to do something. You understand? Whatever you're doing on your own voluntarily basis, making an educated decision for yourself, okay?
Okay.
Keep on. And if you want a chance to explain yourself, the only way that we would be able to take your statement is if you agree to talk to us without the presence of an attorney. If you do, go ahead and sign right here.
What's that, sir?
An attorney is someone that can represent you in legal matters. Okay?
You know what a lawyer is?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. By you signing that, you're wanting to give us a statement without the presence of a lawyer. You understand that?
Yes.
Is that your wish?
Yes, my wish.
Okay.
What's your address?
I don't know my address.
Okay. What's your telephone number? You don't know it either?
No.
Around 10?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what?
I woke up, and I went to the kitchen. I grabbed one of the kitchen knives, and then I went to her room, and then I ate.
It's okay, you can say it.
I killed her.
You killed her? Alright. What type of knife was it? Do you know?
It was just a big size kitchen knife.
That big?
Yeah.
What color was the handle?
Purple.
Purple?
Yes.
Okay. Your mom was sleeping?
Yeah, she was sleeping.
Okay.
Only one.
What's his name?
I don't know his real name. He's an online friend.
He's an online friend?
Yeah.
When you say online friend, what do you mean, from video games?
Yes, from video games. I know him real well.
Okay. How long have you known him?
Since like I was 10. 3 years.
3 years? Have you ever met him?
No, I've seen his face.
You seen his face?
Yeah.
So how did you communicate with him?
My cell phone.
Through your cell phone, so you have his number?
Yes.
And you don't have him stored under a certain name, or you have him stored under a gamer tag?
I made up a name for him.
You made up a name for him?
Yeah.
What name did you make up for him?
Sweden.
Sweden?
Sweden. SWEEDEN.
Okay. How often do you talk to Sweden?
Every weekend.
Every weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. So you called Sweden. And what did you tell Sweden?
So then what I did?
What exactly did you tell Sweden when you say what I did?
I killed my mom.
Investigators obtained Derek's devices. What they found raised serious questions. His Google search history on the evening of the murder included, what is the best place to stab someone? Carotid artery image diagram? Is a small knife good for killing? Can a small knife cut through bone? Image of machine gun? It was chilling. The timeline of searches appeared to begin at around 6 p.m., hours before the murder. Perhaps the most damning evidence came from the baby monitor. At 10:20 p.m., it captured a tender moment of Irina cradling Ashley in bed. Less than an hour later, the monitor took a still image showing a figure, allegedly Derek, leaning over Irina as she slept. This footage, say investigators, places him at the scene at the exact time of the murder. The image itself, however, has sparked heated debate. Was it truly Derek? And if so, what was he doing in that moment? If you're still watching, take a second to hit that like button. Comment below. Do you think Derek Rosa is truly responsible? Or is there more to this story than we're being told? Your thoughts help this channel reach more true crime fans like you. As the story spread, public opinion split down the middle. On one side, outrage, heartbreak, and a belief that Derek's actions were cold, calculated, and premeditated. On the other side, compassion, disbelief, and accusations that the justice system was targeting a mentally unwell child. A GoFundMe set up by Derek's legal team raised over $140,000. A petition for his release earned over 43,000 signatures. Supporters packed courtrooms wearing shirts with Derek's face and the words, "Free Derek." They claimed he had been coerced into a confession and didn't understand his rights. At a hearing in April 2025, more than 50 supporters of Derek showed up, chanting outside the courthouse and wearing his image like a badge of protest. Many believe Derek is innocent, or at the very least, that the state failed to respect his rights as a child. On TikTok, the case has gone viral. Spanish-speaking women in particular have become vocal advocates, creating videos dissecting the inconsistencies and raising awareness. Some suggest a conspiracy, others allege police misconduct or bias. The biggest point of contention? That confession.
Next to me, okay? So we're not affiliated with any source. We're here by our own selves, voluntary. We're here to support Derek Rosa's case. We want Derek Rosa's freedom. We don't want Derek Rosa's rights to be violated any longer. His constitutional rights is being violated as well. We want Derek Rosa's freedom. We want justice for Irina Garcia. We want the real person who committed this passion crime to be charged fully. Derek Rosa did not do it. He's a child.
I'm here because I believe in Derek's innocence. And I like to see him free. I like to see justice for Irina. And this child, Derek Rosa, I know, I believe he is innocent.
Rosa es completamente inocente. Derek Rosa es inocente.
I believe that he is innocent of all charges. He is a child. He can easily be manipulated by an adult. I believe there was more than one person in that scene. We hear noises in the background of the 911 call. I strongly believe that he's innocent and he was manipulated by someone else around it.
Derek's lawyers argued that the 13-year-old did not comprehend what waiving his rights truly meant. They say he didn't know what an attorney was. He couldn't define the word coercion. He didn't know his own address or phone number. And yet, he was interrogated without a guardian present. Frank Ramos, the man who shared a child and a home with Irina Garcia, is central to an emerging alternative theory.
My name is Attorney Jose Baez, and I'm the lead defense attorney for Derek Rosa. Derek would like to thank everyone for all of their well wishes and interest in his case. This has been an incredibly difficult time for both Derek and his family, and we would like to take this time to thank everyone for their prayers. Having said that, Derek faces a long fight ahead, and many people have offered to assist in his defense. And I'd like to inform you that we are currently working on setting up a defense fund on behalf of Derek that will be managed by a third-party attorney in their trust account to assist in his defense. Now, when I say to assist in his defense, I'm referring strictly to costs that may be involved. And the reason for that is that this is a case that my law firm is taking on pro bono. We have not taken one penny from the Rosa family or Derek or anyone else to represent him. We're doing this because this is a fight and a cause that we believe in. And it is a principle that the Baez law firm stands firmly behind.
On the night of the murder, Frank told authorities he was working as a truck driver and had been in Georgia. But that alibi, once considered solid, has now come under intense scrutiny. Defense attorney Jose Baez and his team allege that Frank was leading a double life, married to another woman in Cuba with whom he had additional children. According to court documents and online records, Frank and Irina's relationship was technically adulterous. This revelation sparked questions. Was Derek aware of Frank's secret family? Could underlying tension between stepfather and stepson have created a volatile environment? More pressing, however, is the digital footprint Frank left behind. Investigators discovered that he had accessed the home's Ring camera remotely and allegedly saw police arresting Derek live. Yet he didn't immediately call Irina's mother. Instead, it was Derek's uncle who contacted her in a panic, urging her to go to the scene. Why didn't Frank reach out directly? Worse still, Facebook messages and a voice recording between Frank and an unnamed woman reportedly reveal disturbing details. In these messages, Frank allegedly described specific aspects of the crime. Irina's reaction, her struggle, even the precise moment she collapsed. None of this information, defense attorneys argue, was released to the public at the time. This has led to a provocative question. How could Frank have known so much unless he was there? As defense attorneys dig deeper, their theory gains traction. Could Derek have been coerced? Could someone else have committed the murder and manipulated the scene before the police arrived? We now know that Frank Ramos made a peculiar purchase just 1 month after Irina's death. 3 plane tickets from Cuba to Florida. Not long after, images surfaced online of his Cuban wife holding baby Ashley. The optics raised eyebrows. Was this simply a grieving father trying to unite his family, or something more opportunistic? At a June 2025 hearing, defense attorneys pushed to have Derek's confession thrown out. They claimed the entire interrogation was unconstitutional and exploitative. A 13-year-old boy, traumatized and alone, shouldn't have been questioned without a lawyer or guardian. Meanwhile, prosecutors argue the evidence is clear and overwhelming, from search history to selfies, from the 911 call to the baby monitor footage. But the court has not yet ruled on whether the confession will be admissible. Derek remains in custody at Metro West Detention Center, housed in the juvenile wing of an adult facility. His trial, initially set for July, has been delayed until September 2025. The court has cited the need for psychiatric evaluations, DNA retesting, and new interviews. Will the court believe Derek was a calculating killer or a confused, manipulated child? As public curiosity intensifies and the trial date inches closer, one of the biggest developments in the case isn't the crime scene or the confession. It's the question of Derek Rosa's mental health. In April 2025, the court ordered a full psychiatric evaluation. Multiple child psychologists have since examined Derek, and while the official reports are sealed, leaks and unofficial statements suggest that Derek may be showing signs of post-traumatic stress, depression, and possible dissociative tendencies. Supporters argue that these signs point to a child in crisis, a kid who may have lashed out or confessed under the weight of fear, confusion, or psychological manipulation. Others ask, if Derek was truly aware of what he was doing, why didn't he run? Why call 911 and stay on the scene? His defense is treading carefully. They don't want to fully claim insanity that could be seen as an admission of guilt. Instead, they're presenting a nuanced narrative that Derek may not have fully understood the consequences of his actions, and that the trauma of living in a fractured household, with secrets, alleged abuse, and complex adult dynamics, may have warped his sense of reality. At the same time, prosecutors aren't backing down. They've brought in their own forensic experts who argue that the nature of the killing, the number of wounds, the precision of the searches, the way Derek avoided harming the infant, suggest awareness, planning, and intent. So the courtroom is bracing for a battle between two conflicting portraits, one of a boy unraveling and one of a boy calculating. As September 2025 approaches, all eyes are on the Miami-Dade court system. The prosecution, led by Assistant State Attorney Jennifer Garofalo, has made it clear they intend to try Derek Rosa as an adult, despite his age. The state has painted a picture of premeditation, a boy who studied how to kill, executed a plan, and showed no remorse afterward. But Derek's defense, headed by high-profile attorney Jose Baez, is preparing for an all-out war. They are not only trying to suppress the confession, which they argue was illegally obtained, but also attempting to introduce evidence of alternative suspects, namely Frank Ramos. They are requesting records, pushing for psychological evaluations, and calling for an investigation into potential mishandling of the crime scene. To bolster their case, the defense has reportedly consulted forensic psychologists and child development experts. Their position is firm. Derek is a child who was not mentally equipped to understand what was happening during his interrogation, and perhaps not capable of the crime itself. Behind the scenes, Derek's family members are divided. Some relatives support him fully, attending court in matching shirts and raising funds. Others remain silent, wary of the public spotlight and the trauma that continues to ripple through the family. The prosecution, meanwhile, is doubling down on the digital trail and the confession. They argue that even without the statement, Derek's search history, baby monitor footage, and the physical evidence, like the murder weapon in his room, are enough to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Court proceedings have grown tense. Motions are filed weekly with frequent delays. The judge has issued a gag order to prevent leaks, but the media frenzy shows no signs of slowing down. As the trial date looms, the legal strategies on both sides have become clearer and more combative. The prosecution is leaning hard on the digital footprint, the search history, the selfie, and especially the baby monitor image that allegedly shows Derek over his mother at the exact moment of the murder. They argue that this wasn't a spontaneous act, but a calculated, premeditated one. They're expected to push for life in prison, despite Derek's age. But the defense, led by high-profile attorney Jose Baez, is going on the offensive. They're not just defending Derek, they're building a case that someone else, possibly Frank Ramos, had motive, means, and opportunity. They've filed motions to introduce Frank's alleged double life, his suspicious knowledge of the crime scene, and his failure to contact the family immediately. The case is becoming less about proving Derek's innocence and more about introducing reasonable doubt, and there seems to be no shortage of it. At the heart of the defense's case is Derek's age and state of mind. Expert witnesses are expected to testify about adolescent brain development, trauma response, and suggestibility, particularly under interrogation without a parent or lawyer. Meanwhile, new questions have surfaced about the physical evidence. Preliminary reports show that none of Derek's fingerprints were found on the knife handle, only his mother's. DNA results from the sheath and gun cases remain sealed, but could play a pivotal role. As the trial date approaches, all eyes are on the Miami-Dade courtroom. The tension is electric, the stakes higher than ever. With the confession, the digital evidence, and the baby monitor footage, the prosecution believes it has an airtight case, but the defense insists this case is far from over. Derek Rosa's legal team is fighting to have the confession suppressed. If they succeed, it could cripple the prosecution's foundation. The court's decision on this motion is expected to set the tone for the entire trial. Derek's attorney, Jose Baez, has also pleaded with the court multiple times to have Derek transferred out of the adult facility where he is currently being held. They argue that the conditions are not suitable for a minor, especially one diagnosed with autism. However, all requests for transfer to a juvenile facility have so far been denied, drawing criticism from child advocacy groups who say Derek's incarceration setting is inappropriate and could have long-lasting psychological effects. The trial will focus on three crucial questions. Was Derek truly the person in the baby monitor footage? Was the confession obtained legally and ethically? Is there a reasonable alternative suspect, namely Frank Ramos? First, each side is calling on expert witnesses. The defense is presenting psychologists and developmental neurologists to testify that Derek, due to his age and autism diagnosis, could not fully grasp the interrogation process. Prosecutors are bringing in forensic analysts to break down the photographic and blood evidence. Outside the courthouse, the division remains sharp. Protesters and supporters clash verbally. Some hold signs for Irena demanding justice for the slain mother. Others wear T-shirts that say, "Free Derek," and claim the system is criminalizing a child. In interviews, Derek's family says he's holding up. His grandmother continues to believe in his innocence. Meanwhile, Frank Ramos has remained mostly silent, his one statement being, "I too lost someone I loved." As September nears, journalists from across the country prepare for a media circus. The Rosa case could set a precedent for how juvenile confessions are handled, especially when there's potential mishandling and overwhelming public scrutiny. Whether Derek Rosa is guilty or innocent, one thing is heartbreakingly clear. A family has been destroyed. A newborn baby will grow up without her mother, and possibly without her brother. This case exposes not just the horrors of one night, but the complexity of justice when children are involved. The questions remain. Should a 13-year-old be interrogated without legal representation? How much weight should be given to confessions under duress? And how do we seek justice when the lines between victim and suspect are so blurred? The Derek Rosa case is a test, not just of the law, but of our collective conscience. We'll continue to follow this case as the trial unfolds. For more updates, breakdowns, and the human stories behind the headlines, subscribe to True Crime Diaries. And now we ask you, what do you think really happened that night? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and always look a little deeper. This is True Crime Diaries, where every story has a pulse.